Hello and welcome again to High Desert Home and Garden. Today we're going to rebuild the carburetor on my Troybilt rototiller. That guy right there, that is a Troybilt horse, and I want to say she's a 30-inch. I want to say it's a 30-inch till. Anyway, we're gonna get started here by, get out of the way, bandit, removing the carburetor. Let me drop this. If I can keep the dog out of the way, we'll get on this project. So anyway, well, I guess to begin with, this is an 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine on this particular one. I really don't know how old this thing is. It's a pretty old machine, but you know, it works. I'm gonna guess this is probably mid-80s anyway. I think the earlier ones of these came with a Tecumseh engine, and also there was a version that had before that had a Wisconsin engine on it. So anyway, first things first, we have to remove the air filter and this intake elbow. You're in the way, bandit. Let me get rid of this dog. That might help. Alright, so we've got the dog back in the house. He's going to sit there and scratch the door, but at least he's not in the way. So, next thing's next, we have to remove this bolt here in order to get the intake tube off. And this is just your hold down for the air filter. Okay, so and then also this one mounting screw for the carburetor is also holding our intake tube. Disconnect the blow-by hose, and then this should just slide off like so. Remove your other screw. Like that. And then here on the back side we have our governor linkage. If I get my big hand out of the way, you can see this little wire right here. We got to take it off. And disconnect the fuel line. And so we have removed the carburetor. We're gonna rebuild this one because it leaks gas when the engine is not running. And yeah, anyway. And also the fuel shutoff doesn't work on the tank, so we'll deal with that in a bit. Okay, so just kind of a little overview. This is just a really small one barrel updraft carburetor. Here we have our choke on this end, throttle plate on this end, which is controlled by our governor. Anyway, this thing, like I say, is leaking gas. You can fill it up, you can put gas in the tank and it just runs right out the carburetor as long as the engine is not running. If the engine is running, it's fine, but it's kind of annoying, especially since the fuel shutoff on the tank doesn't work. So anyway, let's start by taking these 3 screws out. I'm going to add that it is cold here today. It was -7 when I got up this morning at 6:30, and it says it's about 9 degrees now. It's nice and sunny out. So anyway, it's warm enough. We'll see how far it goes. So now we're just going to separate our upper and lower case here, if it will. Something's got us in a bind. Which should probably be this screw right here. That is your float adjustment screw. Get it down where we can see it. This screw right here is your float adjustment, as I was saying. Anyway, that's probably what's got us bound up, because the only thing that really could cause this is for the float to be stuck. I need a little fitting ball here. And we just remove this. And she's still not playing fair. So there's another little screw, like a set screw down in here, that we can take out. And there we go. Okay. So this is our float. It is in fact plastic. And we have a, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but anyway, that is our needle valve. This carburetor almost looks like it has an aftermarket kit in it for some reason, which I don't agree with at all. Which, now that I think of it, I think I actually rebuilt this carburetor once upon a time. I don't remember when exactly. I've had this thing for about 4 years. It must have been right after I got it because it had been sitting forever. But anyway, take this out too. This is your idle jet, I think. Yeah, the carburetor is pretty clean on the inside. That's good. But this little aluminum needle valve, I'm not a big fan of those. They just, yeah, they just don't seem to seal as well as brass. I of course learned that the hard way with my little 8N Ford tractor that I used to have. Rebuilt the carburetor on it and put in an aluminum needle valve with a new brass seat, and it actually leaked worse when I got done with it than it did beforehand. So anyway, let's separate our float here. Put our little pin back in so we don't lose it. And then this gasket should just peel right off. So far so good on that. We've got this little brass washer here too. I don't remember what that's for. It had to be something to do with the needle valve. So set it there. So our throttle plate moves freely, the choke moves freely, so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Everything appears to seal up pretty good. Kind of curious of that needle valve seat though, because I have a new one in my new kit, I'm pretty sure. Let's take this barb fitting out and see if there's a screen in here. There usually is. So far I'm not seeing one though. Seems to be pretty clean. So, I guess let's unbox it. So we have two different bowl gaskets here. It comes in the kit. They're pretty much both the same thing. I don't know, one of them's got 3 holes here, the other one does not. So that's pretty much the only difference in that. it comes with a new gasket for a new mounting gasket for the carburetor. But Briggs didn't show that in the kit, so I bought another one. Won't hurt anything because I think it's the same one that goes to the where the intake elbow for the carburetor goes on the head. We have this little aluminum washer here. Also, and then in here we have all kinds of new parts. We have another aluminum. Yeah, let's just say all kinds of new parts. We'll go through it and see what we need. We've got a new pin for our float, another one of those little washers. We've got our needle valve seat, or should be our needle valve seat. I'd imagine that's what's wrong with our carburetor, is the seat itself. But we'll find out soon enough. Alright, so a trick to see if our needle valve is working or not, just put your lips over that and blow, basically. You can hear the air coming through. It should be doing that at the moment because there's no needle valve in the hole. So let's put our needle valve in. And we really shouldn't have to hold much pressure on it, just basically keep it from falling out. And really it seems to seal pretty good like that, which is you know, not exactly the correct way of doing it. Anyway, let's turn this a little bit. But if it seals air, it should seal gas, I would think. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. I don't see any imperfections here in this needle, but anyway, we have a new one, so we'll try it and see if it does anything different. Actually, we have a couple of new ones here. We've got two different choices. We've got another little aluminum one and one that looks to be steel. I'm hoping the steel one works. It'll be better than the aluminum. So here is our little steel needle valve, and of course it won't actually go into the seat like it should. Get this thing in the right spot here. So yeah, I'm really starting to remember rebuilding this carburetor before, but yeah, those that will not pass through there, so that's why I didn't use that the last time. Make sure we're on the angle here. That'll work. Trying out a new tripod. Things it's kicking my butt, let's just say. So we have one or two choices here that's causing our issue. needle valve. It's either the seat for the needle valve, or perhaps this big plastic float that we have here isn't exactly the right one. I believe there's an updated carburetor available for these things. I can hear air bypassing that, so I'm guessing our seat is no good. Only issue there is our seat would appear to be made into the carburetor. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting, to say the least. But that should be a new needle seat right here. I don't know how well you can see up in there, but that's what it is. It's just another needle valve seat, and it's a new one. The only problem with that is this one would appear to be made into it, like I was saying a minute ago, which sucks. I'm sure there's a way around that. And then I would also if I was able to use this, I would have to go with the other needle valve, which would fit in that seat. So I wonder if I can get that current needle seat out of there without destroying the carburetor. That would be really helpful, because I think the carburetors are like $300, which is, you know, more than what the machine is worth. But that's pretty much our options. We've got to get that seat out of there and then go from there. So let me see what I can do with this, and I'll get back with you guys shortly. Alright, so it doesn't appear that there's any way to get this out, which this seat out, which is kind of a pain in the butt. Probably gonna have to go and price a new top section of the carburetor body. But before we do that, I'm going to try one thing real quick here, which is to use a piece of emery tape, which may be easier said than done. Just a tiny square is all we're going to need. And then kind of wad it up and make sure it's pliable, since it is so cold out here right now. But anyway, emery tape is just basically, it's really fine sandpaper that comes on a roll, and you know, well worth having, basically, because if you have a part that's a little bit rough, you can just polish it up. And that's what we're going to try and do with this needle seat, is just polish it up a little bit, and then see if we can get a better seal on it, rather than ordering a new top carburetor just to start with. And that's not going to work quite so well as I wanted it to. big dumb fingers and little small parts. Most of the time doesn't work out, but let's give her a shot here. Okay, so it went in like I wanted it to that time, and then we're just gonna twist this little screwdriver around in hopes that our emery cloth is twisting with it. And then of course we've got to get it back out of there, which hopefully won't be too bad a problem. May have to use compressed air for this one, but hopefully it won't be too big an issue. We'll find out soon enough. Yep, we'll have to get out the air compressor. Anyway, be right back. So yeah, a nice little rubber tip blow nozzle goes a long way a lot of times. Let's see what happens here. So our little piece of emery cloth came out, and I can see it. I don't know how well I can get the camera to see it, but the bottom of our seat is also cleaner, so maybe that'll help us out. Always blow through both ways just to make sure you're good, because you don't want to have a bunch of crud in that part of the carburetor, because that's where the fuel flows through. Alright, so let's get our new needle valve and the nifty little clip that goes with it here. So that little thing just clips over it just like that. I know this is probably hard to see, guys, but it is what I've got. So let's drop that in there like so and see what it does. Okay, we had a better seal with the old one. Well, alright then. Looks rather like we're going to have to back up and punt on this one. I'm going to have to go order more parts. So, yeah. Anyway, keep an eye out for more videos on this little subject here. Hopefully I don't have to buy the new carburetor, because like I said, I think it was like $300. And I can't imagine that this piece is going to be real cheap either, but we're going to find out. So bear with me, guys, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, so I retreated in the house here because I was tired of being cold and trying to look up parts on my phone. It of course on my computer it comes up, says that image is not available, so we're just gonna have to read the parts list and see what comes up. Anyway, body assembly upper carburetor is $71.40. That's not too bad to put that machine back to work, considering that let's see, a new carburetor body included in carburetor overhaul kit. What is that? I don't know. Someplace there was a carburetor assembly on this list, which is, I guess, carburetor manual choke, and that's $160. So either that's the lower assembly or it's this piece that but the body assembly upper carburetor is going to be this piece right here, which is the one we need, and hopefully the new one comes as a replaceable with a replaceable needle valve seat. But anyway, I guess I better get this ordered so that I can get this job done and get this thing put up for sale. Yeah, I know it doesn't make much sense for me to spend money on something that I'm selling, but it would be way better in my mind if it didn't pour gas out on the ground while somebody was here looking at it. And you know, I got the thing for the cost of me loading it in the back of my truck and hauling it home. So I'm not really going to be out anything. At any rate, guys, let me get this ordered and we'll get back to this video whenever this part comes in. Anyway, for now, please comment, rate, and subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you later.